Okay, I'm making a video about the new SSL EV2 channel strip by Waves and giving you my opinion. And my opinion isn't just an opinion. This is a fact. Everything I'm about to tell you is a fact. They claim that this plugin is the Waves' new precision analog component technology, and that gets you really excited. Like, oh, Waves is finally using better emulation technology. It doesn't really matter what technology you use. What matters is what result you get. There's no doubt about it. Their original SSL channel strip was lacking in the harmonic distortion. It really didn't have a lot of the harmonics. That's actually why a lot of metal guitar players like that EQ, because it's clean and it works really well with metal guitars, like especially heavy metal, death metal, and gent and other styles. So I still think the old SSL Waves channel strip has a place in the industry. Now this plugin, I think that you might as well not get it. For one, if you already own, am I recording? I am recording. Okay. If you already own the CLA Mix Hub, it's kind of the same thing. It's not exactly the same thing. There's no doubt about the harmonic distortions are different. It's like a different taste, a different flavor. Honestly, it's not that different. This drive and the drive of the EV2, they sound about the same to me, close to the same. They're not exactly the same. The EV2 only gives you the black compressor, whereas the CLA Mix-Up gives you the black and the blue compressor, and the blue compressor is a very interesting sound. The EV2 gives you the choice between the black and the brown EQ. It adds a little bit of different harmonics to the low end. Honestly, I don't even hear it. I hear a different curve. Okay, that's interesting. It's not that big of a deal. It's not enough to make me spend a dime. Oh, the low end EQ has a different curve. Maybe some different harmonics. I don't know. They did fix the EQ cramping that existed in the original Waves SSL channel strip in the upper EQ. The problem is they already fixed that with the CLA Mix Hub. So rather than buy this EQ, I'm suggesting if you already own the CLA Mix Hub, stick with the CLA Mix Hub. So far as like sample rate is concerned, they both work, I believe, at 96 kilohertz. They're compatible with 96 kilohertz and no greater. Neither one gives you the option to oversample, which I don't understand why anyone's making plugins today, especially plugins with harmonic distortion and heavy analog style compressors without lots of oversampling. All that aliasing will build up over your channels and make your overall mix sound harsh. What you need to do is you need to have some analog equipment when you record the tracks, so it's a hybrid mix. There's some analog EQ, there's some analog compression, and some preamp. You record the track like that, and you don't overdo it, and then you bring it in the box and you use the plugins. And use the plugins at the highest sampling rate you can get away with. If they allow you to oversample, then you can run your project at whatever you want, 441 or 48, and then just select to oversample. If they don't allow you to oversample, then you have to get another plugin like the DDMF Meta filter, and then run, like for instance, one of these Waves channel strips through that plugin, which is a nightmare to your workflow. But then you could oversample the ones that you want to oversample. I'm not saying you need to oversample all of them, but some key tracks where you're going to really distort them, like for instance vocals, the way I did it here, you're going to want to oversample it. So neither one of these are oversampled. However, I am running this project at 96 kilohertz. So I'm getting the maximum decrease in aliasing that I can get out of these plugins. Then I'm going to show you another example of what you could use besides the CLA Mix Hub that's free. And as far as I'm concerned, it's better. So you can decide for yourself. But let's start off with the SSL EV2 channel strip. Here's the mix. Mostly I used Analog Obsessions, which I'll talk to you about them in a second, plugins. I ran them through 3 different effects auxiliaries. One of them is a LA2A style plugin, and they all have the same amount. They're all going through that the same. So first, we're going to hear the vocals with the SSL NV2, sorry, EV2, and you can decide in the end which one of these mixes you think is better.
Sometimes you wake to see yourself, take happier pills to keep you well. Sometimes you talk to hear yourselves screaming out loud. Never ever heard what you said. Can't you see yourselves? Can't you understand? There's more truth in the way that you lie. So you take a stab at all that's surrounding you. Man, can't you sweep this shit to the side? Well, it's so fucking nice to have you here.
Okay, so you get the idea. You hear some low singing, low volume singing, and then some heavier screaming type singing. Obviously, I didn't mix this song really tightly. There's a lot of automation that could be done to the vocals to even them out more. They're essentially being run through 1176 and an LA2A to steady them out. I didn't separate the lower volume vocals to the heavier, louder vocals, so you're just hearing it very raw. Everything is pretty raw. The track is from what's it, Candlebox Happy Pills. You can get their track and any other track from Cambridge-MT.com. There's all these free tracks, these free multi-tracks you can get, and you can just practice mixing with. So that's a great resource to have. Okay, now let's hear it with the CLA Mix Hub. What I think you're going to notice is it sounds basically the same, except the vocals have a little bit something extra, and that's the Bluey LA2A. I'm sorry, 1176. That comes with the CLA 2A, which is one of the reasons why I really love this plugin. So, all right, let's listen to that same bit of music.
Sometimes you wake to see yourself, take happier pills to keep you well. Sometimes you talk to hear yourselves screaming out loud. Never ever heard what you said. Can't you see yourselves? Can't you understand? There's more truth in the way that you lie. So you take a stab at all that's surrounding you. Man, can't you sweep this shit to the side? Well, it's so fucking nice to have you here.
So if you think that mix sounded a little better, there might be the volume isn't perfectly matched between all these examples. But I think that you definitely hear that this 1176 Bluey, it's compressing the vocals more, it's more aggressive, and it's essentially set the same. Like I have fast attack. I clicked on it, well, okay, it was a little less than the 15. And then it's a little less, even less with the 1176 Bluey, and about the same amount of ratio. So they're basically compressed the same, and yet the Bluey, it just sounds better. It sounds more compressed even. It definitely comes out better. Now maybe again the volume might be a little bit louder, but essentially you're getting the same sound. I like the CLA Mix Hub version of the mix better than the EV2. But you make your decision. And now we're going to hear the last mix. I'll tell you who it is when we're done. First, just give it a listen.
Sometimes you wake to see yourself, take happier pills to keep you well. Sometimes you talk to hear yourselves screaming out loud. Never ever heard what you said. Can't you see yourselves? Can't you understand? There's more truth in the way that you lie. So you take a stab at all that's surrounding you. Man, fucking nice to have you.
Again, they're not volume matched perfectly. Let's take a quick look at the meters and see. So maybe that one was louder, and maybe it gives you the feeling that it sounds better. I'm not even going to play with any volume on. Just look at the meters. So it looks to me, I mean, they look fairly even to me. Perhaps that last track is a bit louder. It's just a tiny bit louder. That can make a difference, though. Okay, but what plugin, which channel strip was that last version? Well, it wasn't a channel strip. It was this company called Analog Obsession. Their plugins are free. Free. And there's just a ton of them. Just an infinite ton of them. Look at this. This is like a DBX compressor. It's amazing. These are amazing. This is your SSL EQ, right? And it's just on and on and on. Look at this thing. Like, are you kidding me? This is a 1176. There's just so much. And it's all free. You can donate if you want. I donated $5. And what you get for donating is you get a better link to all of these, to the downloads. You can download them all whether you pay or you don't pay. It's just a little bit more convenient if you pay. This is basically an SSL bus compressor, which I'm using on this track. So normally I would use like something like the Waves SSL compressor, right? Well, they have their own version called the Buster SE, and it's free. It sounds just as good. I like it better than the Waves version because the SSL, the Analog Obsession, has a high-pass filter, has a lot of other options that I don't even bother with, different transistors, I don't even know. But I like it better than the Waves version, although I do still use the Waves version. The Waves version has a tone and feel of its own to it. So these are Analog Obsession. It's not a channel strip. I'm just using the individual plugins. I'm starting with the FET drive. So that would be just like using the drive section of the SSL channel strip. Then I'm going into the SSL EQ, and that's the same that I did here. I used this channel out button so that it went from the drive to the EQ and then to the compression, right? And the settings are about the same. And then I used the Fetish, which is basically a LA2 1176 compressor. By the way, another plus with the Analog Obsession. Well, I'm about to blow your mind, basically. The first thing is all of their plugins, as far as I know, maybe not every single one, but most of their plugins, these plugins, are volume matched. So as you're adjusting the EQ, as you're adjusting the compression, as you're adjusting the drive, the volume doesn't change. Now, there might be sometimes slight volume changes. Maybe it's just because of a frequency. Basically, the volume doesn't change. Why don't all Waves plugins do that? Why don't they all volume match? They don't. Another advantage is with most of these the Analog Obsession plugins, they have oversampling built right into them. 4 times oversampling, most of them. Some of them have 2 times, some of them don't have any, but most of them have 4 times oversampling. You can see right here, the FET drive, when you click it and it's red, oversampling is on. Same thing down here. SSL EQ, to avoid cramping in the upper EQ, if you want to use that, 4 times oversampling on. Same thing here, 4 times oversampling. And I'm running these, remember I'm running them all through the LA2A from Analog Obsession. And what do you know? Right here, at 4 times oversampling, and it's written right here in all. They give you all the information. So this is the Buster SSL bus compression. You'll see right here 4 times oversampling feature, and it's for all of these plugins. So right here, I don't even have it turned on, but I could just by clicking that. So that's my channel strip basically. My channel strip is a free, let me say that again, free from Analog Obsession. I'm not affiliated with these people. I just donated to the guy. I'm just trying to look out for all of you who are getting in that holiday spirit, and you're waiting for Waves to come out with something awesome and something new, and you're like, oh, I need this plugin that, one, you may already have in the form of the CLA Mix Hub. So I would say don't buy it, because this is just as good. I feel like the CLA Mix Hub is better. And that's if I don't even consider the whole bucket thing that you can do with the CLA Mix Hub, which I don't really like. But that's an extra feature that CLA Mix Hub gives you. And honestly, give yourself a gift for free. Go to Analog Obsession and download your own, boom, 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 SSL channel strip. There it is. They do have one channel strip. It's a Neve style channel strip. I don't know. I'm not too good with Neve channel strips for some reason, and I didn't find it to be very useful. But this I love. This I use religiously. Again, I did this mix pretty quick. It's not a great mix. There's some harshness. There's some all kinds of problems. The vocals aren't really automated as well as they should be. But go back and listen if you want. I think that the Analog Obsession version, this version right here, I think it was the best version. I think the vocals sounded more open. They sounded cleaner, yet with the right kind of harmonic distortion. They sounded better. They sounded better than the EV2. I think they sounded better than the CLA Mix-Up, but I could go either way with that. Sometimes dirtier vocals work for me. But really, for free, Analog Obsession. So save your money. I'm not here to say that I hate Waves. I'm a Waves fanboy. I want to see Waves do a good job. As a matter of fact, I think this is an opportunity for Waves. I believe this plugin that they made, the SSL EV2, is their biggest mistake, their biggest blunder. But it calls out to them to say, hey, look guys, you could be doing way better. Why aren't you volume matching all of your plugins? Go back to have it just built into every plugin, volume match. Why is there no oversampling options? Some of the plugins there's oversampling on the inside. If I can't see it, I don't believe it. I don't see it. I don't know it's there. For all I know, you're just doing like a high-end EQ roll-off. I don't know if it's there or not. Let me see it. Give me control over it. And I'm not talking 2 times oversampling, like Slate likes to give you, or 4 times oversampling. Give me 16 times oversampling. Let me decide what I'm going to use. Have a little tooltip that comes up and says, oh, you use this much oversampling, this plugin's going to eat up all your CPU. That's fine, but let me decide. Why are you deciding for me? Give me the options. Give me the options for oversampling, for automatic gain control. Let me decide. Like, that's one of the biggest problems with Waves is you have to pay for the updates, right? Which isn't the worst thing in the world because their plugins are so cheap as long as you buy them when they're cheap. The problem is it's a weird incentive plan, right? Like, when they make mistakes, they're going to fix them. And you're going to get that fix in an update that you have to pay for. So, the more mistakes they make, the more they get to charge you. That's a horrible incentive plan. Waves could take this failure. This plugin is a failure. The Solid State Logic EV2 channel strip, SSL channel strip, it's a failure of immense proportions. There's a guy out there making free plugins, giving you gain control, giving you 4 times oversampling, letting you choose whether to use it or not. His plugins sound fantastic. Like, first off, why don't you just hire him? Why don't you just hire him? And you're still just, pumping out new plugin after new plugin without giving us better technology. Like, you could set the standard, Waves. You could take this failure as a lesson. We should have just upgraded everything with the volume matching and the oversampling. And yeah, that's great. This new precision technology for emulating your plugins, and say, hey, we're going to be doing that too. That's all great. And hey, maybe make it a free upgrade. Just throw a bone to all your people who are using your plugins, who love your plugins. like when they made the plugin where I could do this, where I could change the size, okay, that's fine. That charge me for that. I bought that. I bought that because I wanted it. Some plugins already come with that, fine, whatever. That should be standard, but it's standard now, right? It's standard now. And I like it. They give you a lot of options. They give you total control. So I really like the way they did it compared to the way other people do it. Like a lot of people, you can grab the side, you can slide it. And so I like this better. I was happy to pay for that. Waves, you could do better. You could take this failure as a lesson. Anyone who's thinking about buying this plugin, don't buy it. It looks nice. You know, I'm addicted to plugins just like you are. Go over to Analog Obsession. Download all their plugins. There's a lot. Unfortunately, they don't have like one program, app that you can download that will download all the plugins for you. So you have to grab them all individually and go crazy. They're great plugins. I don't use all of them. I'm still learning a lot of them. But these main plugins right here, the Buster, the FET Drive, the SSQ, the Fetish, the Lala. They have another LA2A style plugin. They have so many great plugins. They have this really nice bass distortion plug. They have so many great plugins. Go get yourself a free Christmas gift. And just go get those free plugins. I'm not hating on Waves. I love Waves. Look, I got Waves H Delay. This is a great plugin. Old school, but a great plugin. I got the True Verb, another old plugin. I'm using it on the snare drum. I think it sounds great. Waves is really good when it comes to the plugins that don't require things like oversampling, delays, reverbs, flangers, all them crazy tripped out effects. Waves is great for that. Like for instance, Slate, they don't have that many effects that are really great for that. They have some other weird ones that are affiliated with them, but they're not really made by Slate Digital per se. Slate is great for production. I do think that Slate plugins are really good. I would wish that I wish Waves would do a better job. I wish they would use that great. They had a new algorithm for emulating old technologies and putting them in the digital world. That's great. Just upgrade, man. Just first off, how are you not letting us oversample? And how come all your channel strips run at such a low sampling rate? I understand that they use up a lot of CPU, but nowadays, I can just freeze the track. I can just render it on. It's not going to use up any CPU. I can mess around with it at like 2 times oversampling and go, I really like this. Pump it up to 16, render it on. Let me decide how to mix my music. Let me decide how to use my plugins. Stop deciding, we don't want to add any more. Like even Slate, like one of the problems they have with a lot of their plugins is their plugins have hiss. They have an SSL EQ and it has hiss like the old EQ would have. At least Waves, they would let you turn that off. But the Slate doesn't let you turn that off, and that's mind-boggling to me. So all these companies are just like, they're not giving us enough control. This is the digital world. The beauty of the digital world is we should have more control. So give us that control. Waves, you should take this as a wake-up call. Anybody else thinking about getting the EV2, you're all excited about it, forget it. Don't get it. Stick with the CLA Mix Hub, which is a great plugin, and it's basically the same. Or go over to Analog Obsession and download a bunch of free plugins with tons of oversampling, with gain matching. Like it's mind-blowing. And they sound great. I don't know if you were paying attention, but this SSQ EQ, this SSL style EQ, it sounds great. Probably because of the oversampling. The harmonic distortion sounds great. It's a great plugin. It is a great plugin. And if you don't know about Analog Obsession, you need to know about it. So anyway, I hope I answered some questions for you. Again, like I stated in the beginning, everything I'm saying is just my opinion. But as far as I'm concerned, this is all facts. So you can take it how you want. Have a great day, everybody.